This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Let's hear from head coach Brian Flores. And let's break down some of his comments today. He addressed the media, and there was a little bit of news that came out. All right? Let's go with Coach Flores. Go ahead, Bill.
Hi, Brian. Wanted to get in two questions for the price of one, again, if I could. With Byron Jones, is the Achilles at all a concern in terms of whether he's actually going to be able to play through this? And wanted to ask you why you and Chris decided to take a chance on Callaway. I know that the league-owned website says he's got to sit out 7 more weeks.
Well, I'll start with Callaway and Chris and the personnel staff, Chris, Marvin, Brandon, and our scouting department obviously did a lot of work on Antonio, along with a lot of other players. We felt like it was an opportunity to add a talented player, and that's what we did. We'll work with them over the next few weeks in the capacity that we can. Obviously not, so much because of the suspension, but when we can, we will work with them. We'll see where it goes. The first part of your question with Byron, Byron's working, extremely hard to, rehab, and we'll see where he is for game time. But, it's something he's been dealing with, but he's working to get back out there as quickly as he can. It's a kind of a day-to-day thing. So we'll see.
Adam Beasley.
We heard yesterday from Byron and Kyle that the players have something in mind as way of demonstration before the game. I would assume they've looped you in on that. Is it, whatever they're planning, are you okay with? And is there any kind of demonstration you would not be all right with?
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm a little bit with you driving and talking to me. I'm kind
of. Before we get to that question, I want to address the Byron Jones one with the Achilles, and the Callaway one. We kind of talked about it. This is a no-lose situation for the Miami Dolphins, okay? At all. You don't lose anything. The kid's an idiot. You cut him. It's not costing you anything. He can't do anything for 7 more games. So he's going to try to be the best citizen he can possibly be for the next 7 weeks. You should have a great teammate for 7 weeks. Then after, when he starts playing, that might be a whole different ballgame, or maybe he learned his lesson. So this is a great move by the Dolphins because you cannot lose, okay? I know people want to create havoc with the whole Josh Rosen one, but they got a second-round pick and made it into 2 second-rounders to give them the luxury of trying a quarterback. And if it didn't work out, that's fine, but they didn't lose their second-rounder. They got him in Raekwon Davis. So if Raekwon Davis kicks ass, you scored on your second-rounder. You just tried with a quarterback, and it didn't work out, and that's it, all right? So you lost out on that. And this, you're not losing anything at all. Okay? Just a little coaching time, personal time, whatever. But it's worth it because he has number 1 receiver potential. Okay? And so does Preston Williams, and so is Devontae Parker. You have the potential of having 3 number 1s. So you try it. As for Byron Jones, if he's working through it and he's, practicing even limited, then that tells me that it's not a serious Achilles injury. It might be just a little soreness. You know what I mean? So if you tell me that he's sidelined and he's going to be out a couple weeks, then I start to worry a little bit about it. Hey, what is it? You know what I mean? What kind of injury is this? Did he strain it badly? Was it a slight tear? What? What? You know what I'm saying? I would be concerned. The Byron Jones one, I would actually wait a little bit more till the season starts. See, this is what sucks about not having preseason games. This is what sucks about not having a real training camp. This is what sucks about not having a real offseason. And you also have to understand, these guys have not been doing anything all offseason. Now, all of a sudden, in the last month, they've been doing all kinds of workouts here. It's not out of the normal that a Von Miller ends up suffering a season-ending injury when you all of a sudden you're not doing anything and then you're asking somebody to get ready for a game. So then they have to ratchet things up 4 notches from where they were sitting on the couch. Huge difference on the couch with a remote and then being on an NFL practice field trying to get ready for an NFL game. So the Byron Jones one, I would tell you, hold off. Don't get too crazy, okay? Take it easy. All right, go ahead, Bill. Thank you.
Not sure what the I talked to our players about the laws. But all right, so specific to your question, yes, we've had some conversations as a team. Look, I'm going to keep those internal. Look, we're going to support, any player and every player with however they want to protest or whatever they want to do from that standpoint. But yeah, those conversations are ongoing. And again, I think the topics they're talking about are very serious, and we respect each guy's opinion and right to protest, not protest. But I would also say that a lot of the guys, they just want to focus on the game, and that's been more of the those conversations. But how do we do whatever we're going to do, but also just have our total focus on the New England Patriots.
Cam?
Hey, good morning, Flo. When you got a game, I guess, like tonight where you don't play either opponent, can you sit back and relax, eat some food, have a drink, and enjoy the game, or are you always on football mode trying to scout?
When I watch the game, it's, you can try to relax, but, what would you do on third down? What would you do in this situation? It's 2 minutes. Your mind kind of goes. I think that's how every coach is. Pop Warner, high school, college, National Football League. Once you get into, this profession and those types of situations, your mind kind of, it goes there regardless. So you can try, but that is relaxing in a lot of ways for coaches. So, yeah, it's nice to sit and watch a game. But yeah, your mind starts to wander a little bit, and start to work out how would you handle this situation or that situation. So, but it's going to be fun to have a game to watch. It's been such a long time, whether it's preseason. I think like a lot of people, I love the sport, so I'll be watching and I'll be working as well. So it's a normal Thursday night. It's back into kind of my normal routine in season.
David?
Flo, good morning. At some point over the course of this season, you'll be faced with the decision maybe of, maybe having to pull Fitz and put Tua in at quarterback. When you do have to make that decision or come across that bridge, whether it could be halftime of Sunday's game or later on in the course of the season, what makes you feel that Tua would be ready and prepared for that moment whenever it does come?
This is a lot. It's like a very hypothetical question there.
At some point it'll happen.
I think it could happen at any position. It's football. Guys get injured, things happen. So the entire team or the guys who are on the active roster have to be ready to go. And Tua is part of that. So, specific to, pulling someone, it's no different than if a guy goes down. Next guy's got to be ready. So, I think it's, I understand the question to a degree, but, I want everyone on our team to be ready to go. If you're on the active roster, you need to practice and prepare as if you're going to go in the game, and I'll just leave it at that.
All right, so Safed is doing a great job of trying to put him in a corner so he can give him an answer and say that he's ready to play right now or he's ready to play later. And the coach is not allowing him to be put in that box because of the hypotheticals. And you don't know when you're going to be able to put him in, but they're going to have another quarterback there. And I don't think he wants to give it away that Ruddock will probably be the guy that comes in instead of Tua early on in the season. You know what I mean? And I'll have more to say about Tua in a little bit. But to me, this was just one of those things where he didn't want to get cornered into a story that, hey, Tua's ready to go, and at halftime, if Fitz is struggling, then Tua is ready. And then all of a sudden, coach says he's ready to go. Coach says he's 100%. Coach this and that. And the second that Fitz starts to throw a couple of passes awry, guess what happens? People start writing articles. Talking heads get on television. Guys get on radio or ladies get on radio and start talking about, hey, you got to start playing Tua. That's why you drafted him. And so he doesn't want to be painted into that picture. And so he just leaves it in general that everybody's got to be ready. But he's not specifically going to tell you, hey, look, something happens to Fitz, Tua's ready to go. He's not going to tell you that. He's just going to say in general, hey, listen, every position, everybody's got to be ready. That's all. And then that doesn't tell you that Tua's ready. That doesn't tell you that Tua's next. It just kind of tells you that in general, everybody's got to be ready. So it's interesting how Flo is able to kind of defend these questions or fend them off. In other words, not defend, but fend them off and not allow himself to get painted into a corner because he said something that now is used as a quote and is the material for the next article when something happens down the line. Expertly done by Brian Flores. Go ahead, Bill.
Omar?
Don't know how I could follow that one up, but I want to ask you about, do you see the coincidence in the fact that you've got 3 former Patriots as captains, even though
technology.
Anybody else lose them?
Those guys having been with you and familiar with your scheme and familiar with the organization you're coming from, does that have any kind of impact on where they've gone status-wise on your squad?
You kind of froze right in the middle there, Omar. So I believe the question is about the 3
Karras,
Patriots.
Roberts, and Kyle.
Well, I mean, I think they're all, good players. They're smart. They're tough. They care about the game. They're team first. I think, they try to build relationships, throughout, in the locker room and, on defense, on offense, on special teams. There are guys who care about those relationships, but they also, there's also a number of other guys who are very similar. Guys who aren't former Patriots, like Bobby, like Fitz, like Gotchow. So it's always good to have those types of players on your team. And, I'm happy to have, the 3 former Patriots, but also the other guys we have as captains as well.
Armando?
Oh, pause there, Bill. Let me elaborate a little bit more on Omar's question. And by the way, I think we got to get Omar. Next time we get Omar on, we got to talk to him about his internet because that thing craps out every once in a while on these calls. He doesn't have a good internet service there. Something's going on with Omar's internet. But anyway,
find out his provider so we can all avoid it.
Yeah, well, that too, or it could be, I don't know, maybe things are all screwed up connection-wise somewhere on the street. Outside your house, you never know. There could be interference somewhere. But he definitely has some connection issues. But anyway, it's really simple. Okay, why you see his ex-Patriot players become captains? You're implementing a system and a culture. And you have guys that you got that understand the way you coach and the way you are. And so what you want to accomplish. So it's going to be a lot easier to walk over to those veterans and say, hey, I need you guys to make sure you tell them this, this, and this. And those guys will carry out the message. And those guys will also hold everybody to, held accountable to a certain level that Flo needs. And so for Flo, it's a comfort zone because he knows those players really well. And he can trust that those players will represent him in the locker room without him actually being there. You know what I'm saying? So it makes all the sense in the world why he named those ex-New England players that he knows captains now of this football team. All right, go ahead, Bill.
Coach, a lot has been said about the uncertainty of the game and how the teams haven't seen each other in preseason and it's new to everybody. Is there any part of that uncertainty that you like? And what is that?
I think it's, there's uncertainty for everyone. The thing I like about it is, you just go back to, your rules, your reads, your fundamentals, your technique, and, you kind of see how far you come along from that standpoint. And, I think at the end of the day, when it comes in football, when you're, there's a lot of different schemes, concepts, defensive structures, and eventually you'll see something that you haven't seen before, and you have to rely on your rules and your keys, and if you do that, you should be okay. So that part of it I like, and that unknown is something that a lot of players they need to feel that. I think coaches need to feel that also, and how we respond to that, will I think, help us moving forward.
Cam?
Hey, Flo, I know we've probably spent a lot of time asking about Tua, but I wanted to see, I guess, are you okay with the scenario where he doesn't play at all this season?
I mean, you know how I feel about questions about the entire season.
Yeah.
Trying to get him to commit again. Okay.
I mean, we're just going to take it one day at a time. Again, everybody's got to be ready to play. It's football. There's things. I mean, you hope, you knock on wood that there are no injuries, but the reality is that there are at several, at positions, O-line, D-line, quarterback, DB. I mean, we're dealing with some now, so everyone's got to be ready to go. When your number's called, you got to be ready to go in.
No, not yet.
And try to be productive. So, and if your number's not called, then you just have to stay ready. And that's kind of how the approach I'd like all our players to take, and coaches. Couple that with the pandemic, I think everyone's got to be ready to go. So, if there's a year where you see more players playing, I think this is it. So, I'm not really thinking about guys not playing. I'm trying to get guys ready to play. So I think that's what every coach should be doing.
So again, he's not going to see if he tells Cam, and that was Cameron Wolf that asked that. If he tells Cameron Wolf, yeah, no, I'm okay without him playing, then all of a sudden, Flo must know something about his injury, his hip or something, because he's comfortable without playing him. Oh my God, he's comfortable without playing him, but then why'd you draft him? So it's going to be a wasted year, so he's not going to get any experience. You understand? So if you answer that, you open up a can of worms. And then the media attacks you in all kinds of ways because you just opened up the can of worms. Now they can write their column. This is my commentary, and this is my commentary. And then some big mouth radio guy like me has my commentary, and some television talking head has, his commentary. And so then you create a controversy. This way you squash it. This way, hey, everybody's got to be ready. I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about getting people ready, this, that. And you're not cornering him. And no, he's he's ready to go. He's going to play if something happens to him, whatever. So that way you don't open it up to any of his struggles, and I'm talking about Fitz, that all of a sudden the Tua articles start. If we're into week 7 and Fitz is kind of struggling, but they don't put Tua in, well, coach said he was fine with him not playing this year. Maybe that was a plan all along, that they were never going to play him. They're going to let him heal and just kind of, see things in the process and learn from everything. I mean, Flo's smart. He's really smart how he doesn't get baited into any of these questions more often than not. Go ahead, Bill.
I got time for one more. We'll go to Travis.
Hey, good morning, Coach. Earlier this week, Jesse Davis told us that he thinks whoever makes in-game adjustments the best will be the one that comes away with a victory. I'm just curious, are those mostly coaching observations, player observations, and how long does it take to make those adjustments? If you could just talk about the communication and the process of in-game adjustments.
It's a little bit of both, player and coach. I think that, the players are out there on the field. They hear things, they see things. And if you can get the players and the coaches on the same page, then you can make some adjustments. Now, there have been times where everybody's getting doubled. There's only so many people on the field. So, this guy got doubled and I got doubled and I got doubled. They just don't have that many guys. So, there's got to be some honesty and transparency there on both ends. And then you look at the tablet, and we have film. So we just try to tell them, let's be honest. And, if you screwed up a play, then, tell us about it, what happened, and, we'll get it fixed. But, I got cut, I got doubled, 8 guys got doubled. It's not, I've been in games where that's happened too. And it's not funny in the moment. It's funny the day after you watch the tape and you see the one guy who got doubled and other guys who just, couldn't beat a block. So, but yes, to answer your question, Travis, the in-game adjustments, they're, you can make them, but it's got to be, the communication on both sides has to be, it has to be transparent, it has to be honest. That'd be my first thought. But, thank you. I'll remind our guys on that too.
All right, there's the fluff stuff. Anyway, so good stuff there by the head coach, Brian Flores, as his team gets ready to kick the Patriots' ass on Sunday. This is so awesome, right? Because we have the NFL tonight, we got Canes tonight, and now we got the NFL this weekend. It's just it's nice to see it all rolling around. A little more college this weekend too. The college one, I see the cases going up. I was reading a story about FSU. There's many universities that are having problems with COVID cases because obviously kids. So that one I don't have a lot of hope for, but we'll try to get as many college games as possible that we can watch at least. That'll be good.
Some sense of normalcy, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is more than this is normal.
Yeah.
Thank you, because we haven't had it for 5-6 months.
Yeah, it's weird.